Creator, we pray you to be with us in all our deliberations and to direct our endeavors, so that we shall continue in all humility to glorify thy name and do that which is right and just for our profession, its members, our fellow men, and our country. Amen. Okay, so at this juncture, I would like to invite the eFest cultural group to give us a little bit of some sort of entertainment before we go on to goodwill messages from our distinguished guests.
Let's be lawyers again. Once upon a time, we were bound by the rules of law, driven by justice, and fueled by the pursuit of truth. But somewhere along the way, we lost our way. Perhaps it was at the pressure of life or at the weight of uncertainty. Yet, here we are, standing at the edge of something bold. Let's be lawyers again. Not just suits in courtrooms, but hearts in the fight. Not just loophole artists, but defenders of what is right. Let's stop spinning the truth like it's clay and start shaping justice day by day. Let's stop writing laws to protect the powerful and start enforcing them to protect the powerless. Let's remember, we are the keepers of the line between chaos and constitution. It's time to reclaim our passion. It's time to reclaim our purpose and our place in the law. Are you ready to step back into the ring? Not just by license, but by legacy. Let's be lawyers again. Thank you.
gentlemen, what you just witnessed is the Akpekpe dance from Ijebu. This presentation exposes the similarity they share in culture with Lagos. Now, what you are about to witness is more than just a movement. It is a vibrant display of tradition, unity, and the enduring spirit of the people of Lagos. It combines graceful steps and rhythmic drumming, creating a spectacle that connects the past with the present. Ladies and gentlemen, the Eyo Masquerade.
Ìsàlẹ̀kọ́ àmọ́láwọ́ àwọn àtàwúrì wá àwọn ọmọláwọ́. Òní là ó fà pẹ́pẹ́ tayò. Òní là ó fà pẹ́pẹ́ tayò. Òní là ó fà pẹ́pẹ́ tayò. Èrè ayò èrè kí lọ́mọ ẹ̀kọ́ ìfẹ́ ní ayò ṣe. Kí làbí ìfẹ́ ní ayò ṣe. Ìyẹ̀tù ìyẹ pẹ́pẹ́ yẹ o ìyẹ̀tù ìyẹ pẹ́pẹ́ yẹ ẹ̀jẹ̀ kúyẹ̀wá o ẹ̀jẹ̀ kúyẹ̀wá o ẹ̀jẹ̀ kúyẹ̀wá o ayédèdèdè ayédèdèdè ayédèdè máa kú joko ayédèdè máa kú joko. Ayédèdè máa kú joko ayédèdè máa kú joko òní là ń fà gbàgbàtà yo.
Ladies and gentlemen, please sit back, relax, and may this vibrant display of the Yoruba culture usher in this great event and continue to resonate in our hearts throughout our deliberation. Thank you.
Let's give it up for E-Fest Custom. That was an amazing performance by them. That's the E-Fest Cultural Group, the E-Fest Cultural Group. Good morning one more time, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2025 Nigerian Bar Association Law Conference here in Lagos. The theme of this conference, as you know, is reimagining the practice of law, ethics, innovation, and the future of legal services. Let's be lawyers again. I'm going to just welcome us officially now, and I'll start by recognizing the Chief Judge of Lagos State, Honorable Justice Kazeem Alogba, ably represented by the Honorable Justice Ipaye, the Admin Judge of Lagos State. Justices of the Appellate Court, you are recognized. Judges of the various high courts, the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice for Lagos State, Mr. Lawal Pedro, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Nice to have you here, sir. The President of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Afam Osigwe, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. The keynote speaker of this opening ceremony of this conference, he is the President of the Law Society of England and Wales, Mr. Richard Atkinson's King's Counsel. The conference chairman of this very esteemed conference, Mr. Gbenga Oyebode MFR. Members of the inner bar and benchers. The chairman, Nigerian Bar Association, Lagos branch, Mr. Olabisi Makanjuola. That's our host for today, of course. Chairman of other branches of the Nigerian Bar Association. Students of law here present. Non-lawyers and friends of the bar. I'm the first on that group. Members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome. At this time, we're going to take some goodwill messages from our very, very esteemed guests who are here with us today. And the first goodwill message we'll hear this morning is from the chairman of the Lagos branch of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Olabisi Makanjuola. Please join me and welcome the Lagos State chairman as he comes to give us his goodwill message.
My Lord, the Chief Judge of Lagos State, ably represented by the Admin Judge, Honorable Justice Atinúkẹ́ Ipaye. My Lord, the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, ably represented by Honorable Justice Aneke. The Attorney General of Lagos State, Mr. Lawal Pedro, SN. The President of the NBA, Mazi Afam Osigwe, SN. The General Secretary of the NBA, my brother, Mr. Ujibara, our branch member and the second Vice President of the NBA, Mrs. Balatumi Anima Shaun, the Chairman ICPC, the Chairman of the conference, Mr. Gbenga Oyebode, Mama Hairat Balogun Life Venture, ON, members of the inner bar, senior members of the bar, ladies and gentlemen. On Friday, 26 July 2023, I, with my fellow members of the Executive Committee of our dear branch, set out in our various capacities to contribute our modest quota towards achieving our institutional core objectives within our jurisdiction, including the maintenance and defense of the integrity and independence of the bar and the judiciary, the promotion of timely and affordable access to justice, the promotion and support of law reform initiatives, the promotion and protection of the principles of the rule of law and respect for human rights, the promotion and the advancement of quality and functional legal education, advocacy and progressive jurisprudence, the maintenance of the highest standards of professional conduct, etiquette, and discipline amongst young lawyers, the promotion of networking opportunities among the members of the Nigerian Bar Association, international organizations, as well as associations from other countries, the promotion of welfare, security, economic, and professional advancement of legal practitioners in Nigeria, just to mention a few. In short, we set out to elevate standards in the bar, and I would think that we have done a modest job of what we set out to do about 2 years ago. Through our different standing and ad hoc committees and initiatives, we have sought to be truly premier, not just in name, but in blazing the trail for others to follow. For instance, we are the first branch to be NDPR audit compliant, as certified by the Nigerian Data Protection Commission, a testament to our commitment to upholding the highest standards of compliance across board. Recently, we collaborated with the UK law firm of Stephenson Howard to have the first ever international exchange program for one of our members who underwent a 1-month placement in the London office and returned to share his learnings from his experience about a week ago. We partnered with Uber to give members registered with the app discounts on rides to places of interest for lawyers, such as the courts and regulatory offices. More importantly, members of our branch can now apply for letters of good standing from the comfort of their homes and offices via the members' portal. This is against the backdrop that we were also the first branch to introduce digital payment of branch dues. However, today is not the day to rail out the achievements of the branch. Today, and for the rest of this week, we will have candid conversations. Accordingly, it is my honor and privilege to welcome us to the 2025 Annual Law Conference of the Premier Bar of the Nigerian Bar Association. Beginning from today, we will hear from distinguished lawyers of different specializations and accomplished businessmen and professionals. These conversations will serve as a prism for us to sincerely and objectively assess our roles as lawyers. Are we merely lawyers trying to earn our fee and willing to damn any scruple in how we do so? Or are we conscientious and mindful of our role as the bastions of justice and social engineers? Do we use the law as a means of oppression to shackle the poor and defenseless? Or do we use it to fight for the downtrodden, not minding whose ox is God? Is our judicial system truly a catalyst for economic investment or an impediment? How do international actors view our legal system? Is Nigeria truly ready to be a hub for the resolution of commercial disputes, be it through litigation, arbitration, and other forms of ADR? How invested are we in the use of technology to boost our practice? These are some of the questions we seek to answer in this conference. But it is not all work and no play. This conference is also spruced with many social events for us to loosen up, network, and enjoy ourselves. At this point, I must thank the Conference Planning Committee Chairman, Dr. Aderemi, for the good work he and his team have done. I will leave the Conference Planning Committee Chairman to entice us in his own welcome remarks about what treats await us all this week. My only ask is that we listen attentively to the well-created sessions for which continuing professional development points will be earned. Indeed, a lot is in store for us. Let's be lawyers again, and I thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, the chairman of the Lagos Bar Association, well, Lagos branch of the Nigerian Bar Association, do pardon me, Mr. Olabisi Makanjuola. The next goodwill message we're going to receive this morning, please note that the gentleman that just spoke is our host here in Lagos, and now it's my privilege to call on our national host, that's the national president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Afam Osigwe, senior advocate of Nigeria. Please join me and welcome the NBA president. Thank you.
The protocol is set up by the chairman of the branch was quite long. So permit me if I simply adopt him, so as not to offend any person. But I recognize that the Chief Judge of the High Court of Lagos State is here represented, and that Mama Hairat Balogun is here with us and has been in the hall since about 8:30 a.m. And the Honorable Attorney General of Lagos State, Lawal Pedro SN, is here, and that the past president of the bar, Dr. Lisa Agbakobe SN, is here. And I'm not being partial, and that the GO is here too. I always like to be part of a conversation where we talk about reimagining the bar, because the work we do is about ensuring that we enhance client experience and satisfaction. And I also have prioritized the welfare of lawyers. And that in this age and time, we have to talk about modernizing legal practice. Many of us have got so used to doing things the same old way that we're very reluctant to change. And because, for example, when you talk about ethics, our disciplinary process is very slow and sometimes inefficient. Many of us have got away with what would ordinarily be described as blue murder. We don't see any need to comply with the simple provisions of our rules of professional conduct. And it's good we're having this conversation. I was delighted this morning when I received the message that Nigeria has got a positive rating by the FATF and that we're on the way towards being moved out of the gray list. And at the center of that was part of the contribution by the legal profession. For the first time, we had to do an assessment of legal services in Nigeria. But as we sit here this morning, and we're going to listen to talks about innovation, modernizing law practice in Nigeria. Let us forget that whatever modernization we do, whatever we do to attract businesses to ourselves, that is devoid of compliance with the rules of professional conduct, we may not be any different from ordinary traders or even touts on the road. The compliance with the rules of professional conduct stand us out. And improving ourselves as lawyers, ensuring that we continually improve ourselves so that the quality of legal services we give to our client is top-notch, so that the presentations we make before our courts are such as to make it very easy for our courts to determine matters that come before them. We have an international speaker who will be speaking to us this morning, and to say that for us to build a better nation and a legal profession that lives true to its motto of promoting the rule of law, we must not live a life devoid of ethics. We must not live a life devoid of continually improving ourselves and making sure that we adapt technology and modern tools of practice to make for a better legal profession in Nigeria. And it's just to say to thank you and congratulations to Lagos branch for a great job being done, and for the, what did you call it again? The workstation up there and the innovations introduced in this law conference, and hope that at the end of this conference, we will leave here much better lawyers and much more determined to make for a legal profession that is a pride of Africa and indeed the world. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Afam Osigwe, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. The next goodwill message will be by the chairman of the planning committee of this very conference. Please join me and welcome Dr. Tolu Aderemi.
the chairman of the 2025 NBA Lagos Branch Conference, my lords, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I will also, like my president has done, rely on the established protocols ably set by the compare. I am delighted to welcome you to this opening ceremony with a theme, or with a sub-theme, let's be lawyers again. This encapsulates the transformative shift we're witnessing within our justice system. While traditional legal discussions often focus on the challenges we face, this conference aims to go beyond mere identification of problems by offering concrete solutions to restore public confidence in the administration of justice. As the chairman of the organizing committee, I am particularly delighted to welcome our distinguished guests from outside of our branch and from across the globe. Your presence here enriches this landmark gathering, and I extend a warm welcome to each of you here in Lagos, the city that proudly holds the title of Center of Excellence. I assure you of our renowned hospitality and the unwavering commitment to excellence that defines our bar. This year's theme is both timely and urgent: reimagining the practice of law, ethics, innovation, and the future of legal services. At no point has it been more necessary to examine the evolving role of the legal profession in Nigerians' social, economic, and political landscape. We stand at a crossroad, faced with an existential question. Is law merely a business for profit, or is it a higher calling dedicated to the service of justice and the society? While some may view the practice of law as a transactional exchange, many of us find inspirations in the words of the revered Shakwara Williams, the first Nigerian lawyer of our branch, who declared that a lawyer lives for the direction of his people and the advancement of the cause of his country. The public is also asking, what is the essence of the legal profession today? The concerns are valid. In the face of increasing constitutional violations and blatant human rights abuses, ordinary citizens look to the bar for leadership. When we remain silent, they often seek justice and advocacy elsewhere, turning to comedians, influencers, and content creators. Let us take a moment to reflect on our history. Nearly a century ago, right here in the city of Lagos, lawyers were at the forefront of resistance against colonial oppression. The celebrated case of Isugba serves as a powerful testament of that legacy. Isugba, the Oba of Lagos, was deposed and exiled under the colonial government's deposed chief's removal ordinance of 1917 for opposing the Iju water scheme and asserting Lagos' political autonomy. Despite being expelled from Lagos and confined to Oyo, where I come from, by the way, he quickly assembled a legal team to challenge his banishment. Even after facing setbacks at the Supreme Court, his legal team persevered, ultimately prevailing before the Privy Council in London. This landmark decision in 1931 forced the colonial administration to restore him to the throne of his ancestors. While it may seem like a modest legal victory, this case laid the groundwork for our rule of law tradition and fortified the moral foundation of our independent movement. It reminds us that when lawyers stand resolutely for justice, the might of state oppression can be held at bay. As Lord Denning wisely stated, "Be you ever so high, the law is above you." Yet, a century later, many of the same struggles persist. Internal banishments occur under new guises. Free speech continues to attract criminal charges where civil remedies would suffice. Elected government officials are dismissed arbitrarily, and the prosecution of economic crimes appears selective, with some offenders securing nil convictions while others face swift convictions. Let me be clear. There is nothing dishonorable about lawyers or about lawyers earning a living from their practice of law. Law indeed is a serious business. However, we must never lose sight of our vital role in a society that depends on us for principled leadership. Our unique position grants us the power to shape the course of history, and with that power comes an enduring responsibility. The fate of our society is intricately linked to the role of the lawyer. When justice falters, no one is spared, regardless of the title, silk, or seniority. In legal conferences, discussion often revolve around unethical practices within our profession. Yet, few go beyond mere identification to propose actionable solutions. This conference, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, aims to disrupt that norm by introducing an oath that reestablishes our commitment to ethical practices. Unlike traditional code of conduct, this oath is voluntary, yet it provides an opportunity for legal practitioners to distinguish themselves as credible and trustworthy professionals. In closing, a key highlight of the conference is the unveiling of the Conference Experience Center, which the president of the Nigerian Bar Association alluded to a little earlier. This space is designed for short virtual and in-person meetings, providing a conducive environment for office work. Additionally, throughout the conference week, we're offering free medical tests and the opportunity for blood donations. This initiative not only promotes health and well-being, but also embodies our commitment to serving our community. Mr. Chairman, my lords, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is in the light, or it is in the spirit, or it is in this spirit that I once again welcome all our delegates to this important conference. I encourage each of you to engage robustly in the conversations ahead. Let us reflect sincerely on how we can reconcile the commercial and ethical dimensions of our profession and reposition the legal field not merely as a business, but as an essential pillar of social justice. I thank you all for listening and welcome to Lagos.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Tolu Aderemi, Chairman Planning Committee of this conference. While I was establishing protocols earlier, I made a grave error. I omitted a very important personality. I am going to invite him now to give his goodwill message. Please join me and welcome the Chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, Dr. Musa Adamu Aliyu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Please welcome him to the stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you, MC. The representative of the Chief Judge of Lagos State and the Chief Judge of Federal High Court, the President of the Bar, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really deeply honored for the invitation extended to me to attend this important conference, which I feel is a good opportunity for me as chairman of ICPC to raise some vital issues, which I think it will be good for us in the legal profession. First, the theme of the conference is apt because we are talking about imagining the practice of law, ethics, innovation, and the future of legal services. Now, the first issue which I want to raise is the issue which we are facing in this country now, which I may term the ethical crisis in legal practice. Because really, we are facing serious problem in our legal practice. One of the main issues which, since I became the ICPC chairman, ICPC has been facing is how lawyers kept on challenging the decision of Supreme Court of AG Ondo versus AG of the Federation. There are a lot of cases pending in courts now, whereby despite the apex court resolving the issue, but lawyers kept on filing suit before trial courts challenging the powers of anti-corruption agencies, which I feel this is a serious issue which we need to look at it, because it touches about our professional conduct, and it touches our integrity, and also how the members of the public will look at us as a minister in the temple of justice. Then secondly, lawyers and the fight against corruption. Whether we like it or not, lawyers are the gatekeepers of justice. And corruption is a major challenge in this country. Our Constitution, Section 15, has already alluded to the fact that we need to eradicate corrupt practices and abuse of office. And this issue kept on coming in various phases. And it is we lawyers that need to ensure that we give our own contribution in the fight against corruption, not to promote corruption. There are a lot of issues that are happening that is not good for our own profession, and there is need for lawyers to sit up. I'm happy Mr. President has raised the issue of PATA. Nigeria is about to exit the grey list. And one of the areas that help in Nigeria exiting this grey list is the issue of contribution made by MBA. I'm happy to say that I was Attorney General when the General Counsel of the Bar introduced the issue of money laundering, the issue of self-regulation, which is really important, because if we fail to regulate ourselves, external forces will force us to regulate. And the area of regulation of technology, legal technology, AI is making inroad. Because of that, we need to look at the way we practice. We need to look at how we can regulate the use of artificial intelligence, analytics in our practice, because it's really key. Any lawyer who refuses to imbibe the use of technology will be left behind. So it's an area where I think we need to look at it and see how we can leverage on that. Then the issue of whistleblower. This is one key problem which we are facing in this country. We cannot fight corruption without protecting people that give information to us. And I feel lawyers should be those who are going to protect those who are exposing corruption. We have seen how people have been attacked, people have been subjected because they have given incredible information which anti-corruption agencies have used in tackling corruption in this country. I know of a case whereby a whistleblower, his light was cut off, the water system, just because he has given information to us, which the information is credible. So this is an area whereby we also need to help our profession. Then the next issue which I want to cover is the issue of legal reform. I have just this morning raised the issue with Mr. President that the future of this profession also lies in the next lawyers that are coming. We need to reform our legal education. ICPs as a commission, we are trying to partner with the Council of Legal Education, the body of benchers, to see how we are going to introduce the teaching of anti-corruption in our universities and law school. Because whether we like it or not, we need to catch them young. So that lawyers that are coming from law school, they should know that there is dark side of this profession. There is dark side. Don't think that all is good. There are certain issues that are happening which we need to teach those are coming up so that we have good lawyers that will help us in projecting the image of this profession. And also, lastly, I want lawyers to know that we are nation builders. So whatever we are doing, we ensure that at this critical moment, all our conduct, our activities should be geared towards bringing this country as one, whereby all of us, our action are those that are moving towards how can we have one country whereby lawyers are at the forefront of ensuring our unity so that Nigeria can progress. Nigeria is a country which is great in Africa, in the world, and also we need to demonstrate for our own activities that lawyers are in the forefront of ensuring that Nigeria is good. I want to thank the chairman of the Lagos branch and the chairman of the organizing committee, Dr. Tolu, and also the MBA president for this great occasion. And I hope we are going to have a fruitful discussion, and I hope we are going to have a communique which will going to help in ensuring that Nigeria is a country that is promoting rule of law, accountability, and transformation, and also to ensure that it's a country whereby the future of legal profession is going to be innovative, and also the profession that is against corruption, and also to ensure that we have good foreign direct investment. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, the chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practice Commission, Dr. Musa Adamu Aliyu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Thank you so much. The next goodwill message we will hear this morning is from the Attorney General of Lagos State, Mr. Lawal Pedro, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Please welcome him.
Well, good morning all again. I'm much delighted to be here this morning. Even I had to break a bit of a protocol. Today is the Executive Council meeting of the state, but the governor himself, the way he prioritized the bar and the legal profession, excused me to be here and join the ESCO later. So I think the governor, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, deserve a round of applause. The chairman of the planning committee had been on my tail for some time. I wasn't too sure I'll be able to attend, but I'm much delighted to be here. My Lord, the representative of the Chief Judge of Lagos State, my Lord, the Admin Judge Lagos, Justice Ipaye, my Lord, the representative of the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, my Lord Justice Aneke, my President of the Nigerian Bar Association, and by extension to all chairmen of different branches that are here, and all legal practitioners, including the members of the inner bar. My brother Silk, the chairman ICPC Musa, then revered Mama, I greet you, Alhaja Hairat Balogun. We look forward to you, and I must also commend you of what you've been doing till date with the bar and the profession. I thank you very much. You had cause to also visit me in my office. I insisted I ought to come. You did come. So I thank you very much. The past president of the Bar Association, my brother Olisa Agbakoba, and of course my sister Funke Adekoya, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. I say colleagues at the inner and outer bar, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is with great honor and sincere appreciation that I convey my goodwill and warmest regards today at this auspicious opening ceremony of the 2025 NBA Law Week, Lagos Law Week. Permit me to begin by commending the leadership and the entire members of the NBA Lagos branch for sustaining the proud tradition of using Law Week as a platform for critical introspection, bold conversation, and professional renewal. Speakers before me today have also thrown light into that area. So if you look at the theme of this year Law Week, reimagine the practice of law, and I underline ethics, innovation, and the future, and the sub-theme, led by lawyers again. You have heard how lawyers were with Chakwara Williams, with the case of Osigwe that goes all the way to the Privy Council. That is lawyers in doing nation building. So these themes and sub-themes we have today is not only timely, but underscore the imperative to capture the deep yearning across the legal profession, either commercial, litigation, arbitration, and of course the broader society, for a return to the core values of being social engine. Lawyers, when we are being taught, tell us what's the functions of lawyers in the society. Say they are social engineers. To do what? Which is to say, to the development of the country. Even these are social engine. It has to be so as we confront the disruption and possibility of a rapid revolving world that we have. As lawyers, we are custodians of the rule of law and guardian of justice. However, ethics remains the moral compass of our practice. The importance of legal ethics, which I believe we all know, include public trusts. Our conduct, we must maintain the trust in the legal system, in the legal profession, and of course in the society. And this is essential for our functioning. Another importance of our ethics is fairness and justice. Because ethical practices, ethical principles ensure that legal proceedings are fair and just, protecting the rights of all individuals involved. Another is integrity of the legal profession. Ethical conduct is crucial for maintaining the integrity and reputation of the legal profession. You have heard the chairman of the ICPC just address us. That is the core. Ethical profession. In whichever field of the legal profession you find yourself, that is very important. And of course, protecting our clients. Ethical conduct also include protecting clients' rights and interests by ensuring they receive competent, diligent, and honest representation. Let me share a brief anecdote with you. In 1959, the legendary Chief F.R. Williams, of blessed memory, once remarked during a lecture, the legal profession survives only to the extent that it is trusted. And it is trusted only to the extent that it is honorable. And I think that explains why we are all here today. Trust that the society should have with the legal profession. These words still ring true today. Perhaps now more than ever, in an age where artificial intelligence drafts legal arguments, virtual court hearing, global law firms running 24-hour circles, the call to lawyers, again, is a call to anchor our practice in integrity, empathy, and service, no matter how much technology reshapes our methods. In Lagos State, we have also had to reimagine justice delivery through digitization of case management, deployment of technology in the administration of justice. You know, Lagos, with the population, with the infrastructure, which we all face, the challenges every day. But that notwithstanding, we have continued to deploy technology and to also digitize our case management system, e-filing, different. But from the Ministry of Justice, foremost among our initiative to reimagine justice delivery is the Lagos Criminal Information System, LCIS. It's a digital data bank and a biometric registry of individuals who have been in contact with the criminal justice system in our courts in Lagos State. This data bank today now house picture, biometric, and except you do not have contact with the courts, I may not be able to speak with the police formation we have now, because till today it's still a federal establishment. But with the state, magistrate court, high court, the data of all individuals that had contact with the justice system, we now have it in our database. And by point of button, we bring out the picture, the biometrics, height, and the type of offense committed, whether the person granted bail or convicted. All that now is in Lagos. So the idea of anybody saying they can't find any person or is not coming to court does not arise anymore. So this system actually streamlined record keeping for us, enhanced investigative accuracy, and supported data-driven criminal justice reform. Going forward, there will be need to upgrade it to ensure that you can now do what we call background check through this system. You want to engage housemaid, you want to engage, you need to know whether the person, all you need to give us, just give us the, what you call NIN number of the person. We will be able to tell you whether he's been convicted or whether he has had contact with the justice system in Lagos State. And that is an achievement that we have been able to do in Lagos today using technology. Thank you very much. So if you want to clap, clap. Thank you. Another I could mention is that of Lagos State DNA and Forensic Center. It's the first ISO accredited state-owned facility of its kind in Nigeria and I dare say in sub-Saharan Africa, providing vital scientific support in criminal investigation, including rape, homicide, disaster, victim identification, even paternity dispute, handwriting analysis without having to go to Alagbon. Although the center was tragically destroyed during the NSAS protests, the state government has commenced partial repair to provide functional forensic facility and services as a stopgap measure, ensuring continued operation pending the final full renovation of the facility. There are so many, but I will not bother you with it today. As Lagos continues to evolve as Nigeria commercial and legal nerve center, the future of our legal system must reflect the boldness, excellence, and of course, ethical grounding that our profession is known for. Innovation is necessary. Technology, you can't do without it, but ethic is non-negotiable. To senior lawyers here today, and indeed to all of us that are legal practitioners here, beyond our briefs and fees, we are nation builders. The call to be lawyers again is a summon to leadership, ethical, informed, and courageous leadership. I therefore look forward to the conversation this week, and more importantly, to the concrete reforms and recommendations that will be coming out from this conference. I assure you that Lagos State Ministry of Justice and the government of Lagos State remains a willing partner in the quest to reimagine and revigorate the Nigerian legal profession. So I thank you once again for the honor, and I wish all of us a successful and transformative week. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir. The Attorney General of Lagos State, Mr. Lawal Pedro, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. The next goodwill message will be from the representative of the Chief Judge of Lagos State. Please join me and welcome the Admin Judge, Honorable Justice Atinuke Ipaye.
My Lord, representative of the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Honorable Justice Aneke, other judges who may be here, whom I may not have seen, I would like to stand on the protocol as established by the Attorney General of Lagos State, who just spoke before me. But nevertheless, I would like to recognize two important people here. First of all is Mrs. Hairat Balogun, life bencher, OON, first female Attorney General of Lagos State. You are welcome, ma. You always give us inspiration anytime we see you, and may God continue to keep you in robust health. The second person I'd like to recognize is also Mrs. Funke Adekoya, former president of the Nigerian Bar Association. And you are welcome, ma. I saw you on the screen. I don't know exactly where you are seated, but I did see you. And I would also like to recognize Professor Foluke Dada, the Dean, College of Law, Caleb University. Yes, you can accuse me. I've only recognized the women. When it's your turn, you can recognize those you want. I'm deeply honored to have been invited as a special guest at this epoch event. I'm actually here wearing two caps. The first cap is the cap of the Chief Judge of Lagos State, who is, because of the exigencies of his office, unavoidably absent. And I'm also here in my own personal capacity because I know the legwork that your chairman, Mr. Olabisi Makanjuola, did to get me to be here this morning. Thank you very much for having invited me. The theme of the 2025 edition of the NBA Lagos Branch Law Week is without a shadow of doubt timely and thought-provoking. It states reimagining the practice of law, ethics, innovation, and the future. Let us be lawyers again. This is more than a mere title or an appeal to sentiments or rhetoric. I believe the conveners of this event were spot on in formulating the theme. Admittedly, it appears to be a mouthful, because if anybody wants to write a paper on it, it may look rather convoluted, there are too many moving parts to it. But I think that it's a mixture of relevant ideas, and I'm persuaded that it is a call to reflection, renewal, and possibly reform. It is an appeal to revisit our foundations, rethink our methods, and recommit to the true spirit of legal practice, which is the provision of qualitative service while still upholding the ideals of integrity and justice. Well, I will not go as far to say that we're at a crossroads in the practice of the law, but I believe that our gathering here today is not to bemoan the present or to look back with nostalgia at yesteryears. But I think it's an opportunity for us, which must be grabbed with both hands, to chart a course towards a better future for the legal profession in Nigeria. Because if the truth be told, and I am hoping that this law week members and delegates here, if the truth will be told, we will identify the problem areas and come up with possible solutions. If we are to begin with the word ethics, the Attorney General of Lagos State said it is the moral compass by which we operate. For decades, the legal profession in Nigeria commanded enormous respect. People were awed by the garb of the lawyer. They were intimidated by the garb of the bench. They shook in their shoes to be confronted by any one of us. A lawyer's word was his bond. A lawyer's reputation stood taller than politics. The chambers of law were sanctuaries of wisdom, temperance, and learning. The judge's chamber equally exuded and had an aura of quiet majesty, dignity, power, temperance, and integrity. But what do we see today? A growing erosion of that sacred trust. Sharp practices abound. Lawyers now file applications. I don't want to label it as frivolous, but lawyers file applications not to advance the cause of justice, but merely for the purposes of delay. The legal profession, once a noble calling, is now seen as many as a transactional business, and more is the pity. Don't let us talk about corrupt practices, but these are things that have stained some corners of the bar and also of the bench. But then, judges are also being blackmailed on social media, all eyes on the judiciary. Judiciary bashing is now the pastime, most, preferred pastime. Of not even members of the legal profession. Yes, they like it. Once a matter does not go their way, the judge is corrupt, the judge is bad. It's the latest pastime. Court orders are disobeyed with impunity. And indeed, the phrase that the judiciary is the last hope of the common man has become a tired slogan. And it is often repeated, but nobody believes it anymore. Again, that is a shame. If we are to reclaim our dignity, we must begin with a return to our ethical foundations. The legal profession is a highly regulated profession. Even what the bench does is also highly regulated. Everybody is bound by rules and regulations. Let's be lawyers again. The 21st century lawyer must be versatile, must be a problem solver, a dispute resolver, a person who thinks outside the box, but not too much. Lawyers cannot be dictated to by their clients. They cannot dance to the tune of their clients simply because the client holds the purse strings. Lawyers must not become contractors for political interest, nor manipulators of legal process. Nevertheless, we must remain the guardians of justice. The practice of law must be structured in such a way that it meets the needs of the client in a timely and efficient manner. Legal services must be made available at the front end of the business. Very often, I see that lawyers are called in when the transaction has gone awry, and the legal services are now being demanded merely for purposes of damage control. And of course, when you are doing damage control, we're trying to damage control, so you do all manner of types of things. But if legal services had been made available at the front end, let the lawyers work hand in hand with the businessman, let them give the advice at the early stage of the transaction, then all of these disputes and conflicts that we see, perhaps it will be less. There is no doubt about it that technology is no longer the future, it is the present. Artificial intelligence has come to stay. E-filing, virtual hearings, have taken off, especially in the post-COVID era. Nigeria has also embraced it. Online research tools have replaced the dusty shelves of law libraries. Fintech, cryptocurrency, I don't know what it means, so cryptocurrency, but cyber law have created new legal frontiers. Even emojis are now sealing contracts. I'm sure you are all aware. So be careful when you do that thumbs up, because you will just find yourself that, you have sealed or you have accepted the contract. Yet, many of us still operate like we are in the analog mode. And I must confess, the bench is particularly guilty of this. And that is why, to my mind, that the attempts of the Nigerian judiciary to migrate to digital platforms has been a nightmare, a hit and miss event. The stupendous amount of money and resources spent trying to digitize our processes and platforms is not reflecting in the experience of the legal profession. So I don't know where the structural damage has occurred, because we're the heads of court. They are analog minded, but they are trying. The tech companies come to us, this is the way we should do it. Okay, is that the way we are supposed to? They roll it out half through the process, the thing doesn't work again. And now they keep on giving us excuses. Oh, it's your bandwidth. Didn't you know this bandwidth before you recommended this? And so we have all these problems, but these are problems and challenges that still have solutions. We will not leave Mother Earth and go to heaven to be looking for solutions that is already available for us. So I am hoping that this conference would definitely pay significant time in bringing up recommendations on and charting the way forward for us. Again, when we talk about innovation and technology, it does not mean abandoning legal traditions. It merely means enhancing the legal function. The next generation of lawyers will need to understand data protection, artificial intelligence, blockchain contracts. Again, I confess I don't know what that means, and global compliance regimes. I have contact on a yearly basis with law school students, when they spend time in our courts during their externship program. My assessment of them, if the truth be told, is rather below average. I find them to be largely timorous. Their ability to express ideas clearly and articulately seems to be a problem for very many of them. They have all developed hunchbacks because they are forever bowed down staring at their devices. Whilst the world is passing them by. I do find a few exceptions amongst them, but then again, they're just very few. And it's those few exceptions that I encourage. I encourage them to ask the pertinent questions. I put them aside, and I encourage them to go further. I give them other ideas to explore. But really, the situation is very depressing. The Council of Legal Education, the Nigerian Bar Association, and the Nigerian National Judicial Council must urgently revisit the curricula. Law schools must prepare lawyers not only for the courtroom, but also for the boardrooms, virtual spaces, policy think tanks, and international legal consultancies, and of course, other forms of dispute resolution other than litigation. I believe the time to seriously consider a program of articleship for fresh lawyers is now. There just must be a moratorium on the number of people who can set up legal practice at any given time. That's just my poser. I hope that, as you continue with this, your Law Week conference, you will look into that, and you may come up with something that would ensure that fresh lawyers know their onions, well grounded in ethics and can then diligently and optimally represent their clients. My words are going to be few. I am coming to the end of my career on the bench. I have spent close to a quarter of a century on the bench, and I've seen it all. We have grown together, very many of the senior advocates here today. We started this thing together. And as I close on my career, in the next couple of years, I hope I will see the new, improved, tech-savvy, ethical lawyer practicing before me. Thank you very much. You have my good wishes.
Thank you so very much, the admin judge, Honorable Justice Atinuke Ipaye. The final goodwill message of this morning is about to be said, but just before I invite the conference chairman, I'd like to announce that there's going to be a QR code put on the screen. That will be the QR code that will lead us all to the program for this conference. A few people were asking for our brochures when they came in. Innovation in 2025 means we don't carry booklets anymore, but there will be a QR code on the screen which you can scan, and that will be the brochure. For the final goodwill message this morning, please join me and welcome the conference chairman, Mr. Gbenga Oyebode MFR.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to adopt the protocols as they've been established. Particularly delighted to be here this morning. Not just being chair of the week, but in delivering the opening statement and attending the Law Week. Let me just recognize the president of the Bar, Mazi. I think that you heard his comments this morning. I think it's important that we pay attention to some of the things that he identified. I think he focused on ethical conundrums that we have, focused on the changes and innovation that we see. And for that reason, I would like to recognize him especially for making the effort to be here. So Maji Afam Osigwe, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Mama Hairat Balogun, you've been recognized, but I think I'm particularly happy to be chairing the Law Week where you are going to get an award as ethical champion. And I think that's particularly important given the subject matter that we're discussing. The president of the bar has referred to me as Daddy Gio, and I've said to him that my parish is very small, not like his that covers the federation. But I just thought that this topic is one that all of us must take note of. And the reason for that, Olisa Agbakoba and I have been doing this work 45, 50 years. And when we started, we used to run to the office every morning. There was this machine, big machine in our office, in all our offices, called a telex machine. I suspect that most people in this room don't know what a telex machine looks like or is. We used to have fax machines that were as big as photocopiers. Some of us didn't have telephones in our offices. We used to go to Nitel to make calls. That's how far we've all come. That's how far that the world has come. And that's why this topic is particularly important. Important because, again, my brother Musa Adamu has made reference to AI. It's a changing world. It's changing so fast that before you think of it, all of your information you can find on a cell phone. And these cell phones we carry has brain power that is several times the size of the first spaceship that went into space. So I think within that context is why I think that ethics, innovation, and the future of our profession is something that we must pay attention to, is particularly important for, and by the way, not just for the younger lawyers, but maybe for some of us who are taught the old-fashioned way and who still continue to think that we know it all. So I think it's important that we think through life and what's important in that context. So let me just hit on 4 issues that I think, particularly around ethics and innovation, that I think we should be thinking about. First, I see a rush to judgment in the world today where our young lawyers put information on whatever AI platform that they think of, but forgetting what client confidentiality means. Client confidentiality means you don't put information on platforms that you don't know what's going to happen to it. So I think it's important that we think clearly, and that law firms, and by the way, the Nigerian Bar Association sets standards for how we will interrogate AI, how we should use it, what information we share on it, and what the penalties are for using it without checking whether it's right or wrong. We're not there yet, but I think it's important that we set those rules. I think it's also important that we recognize that these things come with algorithmic bias. They're made in China, made in the US, made in Russia. They haven't taken us and the color of our skin into consideration. So I think, again, please be careful what you use and how you use it. I made the point around accountability. We must remain accountable for work product. We must remain accountable for wrong work product. And finally, we must recognize that human judgment remains the key. So whatever you do with technology, we are still going to hold you responsible, and we expect that you will review it before you file it, by the way, and before we all get into trouble with the very, very wrong legal analysis that sometimes AI can deliver us with. So when we say let's be lawyers again, it's a bit of a conundrum for me, because that means that maybe we weren't lawyers at all, or we forgot what we were doing. So my charge is not about let's be lawyers again. My charge is can we pay attention to the changes around us? Can we use technology to achieve the objectives? Can we recognize that it's important that we use the technology for the right reasons, for the right purposes? So what is my charge to senior lawyers, those of us that learned it the old-fashioned way, and expect that our younger lawyers to behave like us? I have a bit of a struggle these days when people still want to come to office 3 days a week. And my challenge to them is to say that it's very difficult to do mentorship online. Mentorship is what you see me do in the office, how I bang on the table, how I react to people. That's mentorship. It's not very difficult to do it 3 days of a week, because we do it every day. So senior members of the bar must be ready to mentor, to continue to mentor. That's our role. We must continue to pass the torch on to younger lawyers. To my younger colleagues, the fact that you are technologically fluent doesn't necessarily mean that you are ethically grounded. So can we all pay attention so that we bridge that gap between those of us that were called almost 50 years ago and those of you that are doing what you do so well today. to our judiciary, our academics, our regulators, our legislators, our government, our bar association, I think it's important that we demand the reform that is necessary. And that reform, by the way, we all know it. So we don't, actually it's been done in many jurisdictions. So in very many ways, we're not even recreating it. Yeah? We're just recognizing that it's time for change and that we're making the necessary change. So it's our obligation, those of us in this room, by the way, to produce the lawyers that are fit for purpose for this century and for the future. That is our role. So we must ask ourselves the crucial question. Our universities, the Nigerian Law School, are they fit for purpose? It makes no sense accrediting campuses all over the country if all it takes to have a campus is for the governor to want to build one. There are many jurisdictions around the world where the way you get admitted to practice is to take an exam. Doesn't matter where you are situated. Maybe it's time, given the numbers of lawyers that we are producing, that we reform the way that we admit our colleagues to the bar. So, for me, the theme of the conference is not a lament about the past. It's actually about the future. It is the fact that can we not abandon our standards? Can we not abandon our ethical rules? Can we be innovative problem solvers? Can we be trusted counselors? Can we be able to compete in what is definitely a changing world, a world where we will be able to look back, but in actual fact, we just want to do postmortems so that we can look forward and behave appropriately. So, ladies and gentlemen, my role is to thank you for coming, for being here, for supporting, but more importantly, the deliberations of this week must bring change. We don't want the change to be forced on us. We want that change to come from all our conversations. And that leaves me with my duty of declaring this week, this morning, open. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, the conference chairman, Mr. Gbenga Oyebode MFR. Just before I hand over to my co-compare for the next part of this morning's deliberations, I'd like to recognize one or two people that have joined us since we began. The President of the Nigerian Industrial Court, Honorable Justice Kanyip, is represented here today by Honorable Justice Isaac J. Essien. Thank you for being here. We recognize and appreciate your presence. The Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Honorable Justice Soho, is represented here this morning by Honorable Justice Aneke. Thank you so very much for being here. And the traditional ruler of Ekpe, the Oloja of Ekpe, is represented here this morning by the Balogun of Ekpe land, Akogun Lawal. Thank you so very much for being here this morning. I'd like to invite up on stage Chinasa Akachuku, my co-compare. Please welcome her.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dele. So still on the topic of let's be lawyers again, our last speaker, Mr. Gbenga Oyebode MFR, had stated that we must continue to mentor, we must also demand necessary reforms, we must recognize it's time for change, and we must be willing to make that necessary change. And so one of the changes we've also noted is the importance of having an ethical oath. And this morning, we're going to be inviting one of us, Mr. Sojia Pampa, to give us or to coordinate the ethical oath declaration. You must know that Mr. Sojia Pampa is the Chief Executive Officer of the Convention on Business Integrity Nigeria. He has served as a senior advisor to United Nations Global Compact on the 10th Principle Anti-Corruption and was a consultant to the Interagency Tax Team of Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's welcome Mr. Soji Apampa to take the ethical oath declaration. And when the time is right, joining him to take that oath would also be the Attorney General of Lagos State, the NBA President, the NBA Chairman, and the Chairman of the Planning Committee. Thank you very much. Please let's welcome Mr. Soji Apampa. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed. I wonder if, well, I'll just make a quick comment before we go ahead with it. What we're about to do is totally voluntary and it's symbolic, but it doesn't mean it has no power. In 2011, when the UK Bribery Act came into force, the maritime sector in particular felt very threatened by that act because failure to prevent bribery became an offense. So 8 companies came together, led by Maersk, and they started what we call the Maritime Anti-Corruption Network. Not because they were the cleanest companies on earth, but because they were the most threatened. They perceived an existential threat. The same way that the law profession is looking at itself today and saying there is a threat to the profession if something is not done. They started their project in Nigeria. Today, I can tell you that vessel clearance, I don't mean cargo clearance, maybe other aspects have not been touched as well, but in cargo clearance, it's now called the Nigerian miracle, where the cases year on year of demands for large unreceipted cash payments in US dollars has crashed. In 2019, there were 266 cases. It fell to 128, then to 84, then to 48, then 45, and last year, only 30 cases. So yes, you can clap. And that was totally voluntary, but all the stakeholders in the sector, including the Nigerian government and its different parties, came together to make it happen. So there is hope. It can happen also within the legal profession. So let me call very quickly, invite the NBA President, the Lagos NBA Chair, the Attorney General of Lagos State and Commissioner for Justice, the Chairman of the Planning Committee for this conference, and the Chairman of the ICPC. We can't do this behind you, sir. So please join us as we ask. Oh yes, the CJ's representative too, please, ma'am. Please. So, thank you. I think now we can invite everyone to actually rise because the oath is supposed to be broadcast as well, and we're going to read this together. Wow. I'll read it out and maybe we'll repeat it after me then because it might be a bit, yes, difficult. I, please put your full name. I, Olusoji Apampa, do solemnly affirm as a member of the Nigerian Bar Association, Lagos Branch, that I shall at all times uphold and preserve the honor, dignity, and nobility of the legal profession, that I shall discharge my professional duties with unwavering integrity, competence, and fidelity to the law, that I shall serve my clients conscientiously and impartially without fear, favor, affection, or ill will, and in full observance of the law and the rules of professional conduct, that I shall respect the authority and independence of the courts, and relate with my colleagues in the spirit of candor, civility, and mutual respect, that I shall renounce and oppose all forms of corruption, abuse, and misconduct that threaten the administration of justice, that I shall embrace innovation with responsibility, ensuring that technological advancement strengthens rather than diminishes the ethical foundations of my practice, that I shall commit to continual learning and contribute meaningfully to the development of the legal profession and the mentorship of those who follow after me. And that in all my professional engagements, I shall strive not merely to practice law, but to exemplify what it means to truly be a lawyer. So help me God. Thank you very much. You may please be seated. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much for that wonderful session. Thank you, Mr. Soja Pampa, for taking the ethical oath. Now we're going to the next item on the agenda, which is the presentation of Ethical Icon Award. And we're going to be presenting it to the oldest member, or one of the oldest members of the MBA. And before we go into that, we're going to have her recitation or citation before we do that. But of course, I'm sure that most of us know who we're talking about. She's seated here right before us. 84 years old, still in practice, still upholding the ethical standards of the bar. I see her as a custodian of ethical standards. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking about no other person than Mrs. Hairat Balogun, OON, Life Bencher. Please let us have her citation, please.
Of Lagos State, she held the distinction of being the 1981 to 1983. Mrs. Balogun also made history as the first female chairman of the body of benchers and the first female Nigerian member of the Council of the International Bar Association. Furthermore, she served as the first female president of the Rotary Club of Lagos from 2012 to 2013. In addition to her impressive achievements, Mrs. Hairat Balogun has dedicated herself to serving Nigeria and the legal profession through various special assignments. She has served as a national executive member of the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, and as an assessor for the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN Disciplinary Tribunal, and Investigating Panel. She is also a member of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators and the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission. Mrs. Balogun has contributed her expertise as a member of the Governing Council of Lagos State University and as an observer at the International Court of Justice in The Hague for the Lockerbie trial. Recognized for her outstanding contributions to the Nigerian legal profession, Mrs. Hairat Balogun has been honored as an officer of the Order of Niger OON and has received the Nigerian Legal Award NLA. She is a distinguished life bencher and a life member of the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA. Mrs. Balogun is also an accomplished author, having written the revealing legal memoirs titled Serve in Truth and Justice and the book Women in the Law. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mrs. Hairat Balogun to the
Please, sir, we would like to invite the MBA president, sir, to please do us the honors of presenting the award to... Okay, would also like the representative of the chief judge to also join in presenting the award to Mrs. Hairat Balogun.
You may please sit. Mama Hairat Balogun, live bencher. I am particularly delighted to have been called upon to present this award to you today. In 1999, as a law school student, I came to your office somewhere not far from here. And Mama, you were one of those who sponsored me to be called to the bar in 1999. And 15 years after that, unknown to me, in that day, 1999, when I came to her office, I was sworn in as a General Secretary walking in her footsteps. And today I've been called upon by the Nigerian Bar Association Lagos branch to present this award, Ethical Icon Award, to her in recognition of her unwavering commitment to legal ethics, integrity, and exemplary leadership in the legal profession. Your dedication continues to inspire the reimagining of ethical practice of law. And if I'm permitted to add, your stellar qualities have inspired many. Your achievements have cracked the glass ceiling for many female lawyers to aspire to be anything they can be in the branches and at various levels of the legal profession. You have blazed the trail. You are the first female Attorney General of Lagos State. You are the first female General Secretary of the Bar. You are the first female Chair of the Body of Benchers, among so many firsts. And we're very proud of you. Even in your old age, you continue to be much stronger than many of us. You continue to observe all the ethics of the profession. And I noted earlier that for this event, you arrived here before 8:30 a.m. We can never cease being proud of you. And your footprints in the sands of time will forever be indelible. You will always be remembered for being a beacon of hope and light to many, and for showing that it can be done, and that the only way to practice this profession is by doing it the right way. We're very proud of you. On behalf of the Lagos branch of the Nigerian Bar Association, I present this Ethical Icon Award to you, ma'am.
Not only the women, all of them. My law school attachment. Then you rank higher than me. Yes.
Oh, you too? I wholeheartedly accept this award, but I want to dedicate it to all the lawyers who stood still and listened to me for just a second, whether I was correcting them about their appearance in the courts, appearance on the street as a lawyer, or their presentation in court, that you stand straight, look in front. Don't forget, we're all doing justice. We're all doing God's work, judges and lawyers. So we must do it in truth and in justice. No corners. None of us should have anything in our lives that cannot be exposed. And when people come to be sponsored, I give them an interview. And I tell them, are you sure this is what you want to do? why did you want to be a lawyer, and so on and so forth. And then I met one with a little speech impediment, and she was very slow to answer. So I said, take your time, because I want you to say exactly what you want to say and continue to do exactly what you want to do, so long as it's right and just. Don't be afraid of anybody. Don't be afraid of anybody. In fact, a lot of people, they talk about me, they've never seen me before, and I just slide past and say, wow, Ms. Balogun, you're terrible, look at that. You know, you frightened this one, frightened. But honestly, all of us, whether lawyer or not, justice deserves to be honored. If you want to be honored, you want to be held reliable, responsible, you must hold justice responsibly. You must admire whatever is done for the sake of justice. There's nothing more than that. And for all those people who really have accepted my promptings, my jiggling, whatever, you know, short of attacking them physically, I thank you all, and I dedicate this award to you.
Can we get a group photograph with Mama Mrs. Balogun? Let's get a quick photograph before we go back to our seats. Let's put our hands together once more for the recipient of the Ethical Icon Awards, Mama Hairat Balogun. Right now it's time to receive the keynote address for this conference. It's being delivered virtually by the President of the Law Society of England and Wales, Mr. Richard Atkinson, King's Counsel. And I'd like to invite you to please sit back, relax, and watch the screens as we listen to the keynote address. Thank you.
Hello everyone. It is my pleasure to join you all at the NBA Lagos Law Week conference as the President of the Law Society of England and Wales, the professional body for 200,000 solicitors. I'm sorry I can't be there in person to join you for this fantastic conference. The focus of this year's Law Week is an important one, focusing on ethics and the integrity of the legal profession. As a global sector, the bonds that unite lawyers everywhere are the desire to uphold the rule of law, advise our clients to the best of our ability, and meet the highest standards of ethics and integrity. Ethics and integrity are not simply ideals. They are the foundation upon which our profession is built. Every profession has rules, but few have the social weight that ours does. As lawyers, our role is not only to win cases or close deals, it is to ensure that the law is applied justly. The privilege of practicing law comes with the obligation to serve the public interest. In a time of rapid global change, economic pressure, and increasing public scrutiny, our ethical responsibility has never been more important. Ethical challenges in today's legal landscape are complex. We live in a changing world, and day by day the ethical dilemmas lawyers face are changing. How we respond as a profession must therefore adapt too. New techniques like AI and machine learning, new methods of practice, and new ways of working are all creating new ethical questions that we need to consider carefully. We must be extra vigilant about data protection, confidentiality, and the responsible use of emerging tools. Solicitors are also increasingly having to deal with environmental, social, and governance concerns. Clients look to us to provide the answers, or at least the framework to consider and find a way through these issues for them. At the Law Society of England and Wales, we have seen this challenge and want to do what we can to support solicitors to respond to these ethical pressures. In 2023, the Law Society of England and Wales launched a 3-year programme on professional ethics. This has mapped out the challenges solicitors face, what support they need, and what more we can do to provide that as their professional body. Our research found that our members wanted more support with client selection, changing firm culture, ESG issues such as climate change, diversity, AI, and the corporate structures and independence. To support our members with these challenges, we have created a professional ethics hub on our website. This provides extensive guidance on everything from conflicts of interest to the impact of climate change and more. We also offer a practice advice service to help members when they come across difficult ethical dilemmas. This has been an extensive program of work and is one example of how we can address and support the legal profession to uphold the highest ethical standards. We are also working to support our members on the ethical integration of AI. AI offers many benefits, but it also comes with risks and challenges. At the Law Society, we want to minimize risk and make sure the sector is well placed to make the most of the opportunities AI offers. At the cutting edge of innovation, we have seen experiments and research into using AI to predict case outcomes. Tools like this, while useful, have implications for access to justice, and we need to ensure safeguards are baked in. Using generative AI does not absolve lawyers of their responsibilities to their clients or their ethical obligations. There are also well-documented issues around data bias and accuracy which lawyers will need to be conscious of. Generative AI can also raise serious privacy and professional negligence issues, which are particularly pertinent for legal professionals. Some of the biggest law firms are looking to develop bespoke closed AI systems to mitigate these risks and to help streamline their services. Smaller law firms, however, often lack the resources to do similar. We are keen to ensure the benefits of AI are accessible to lawyers and firms everywhere. That's why we developed AI guidance for members to bridge the knowledge gap. The guide covers everything from defining what AI is through to issues around regulation, intellectual property, data protection, ethical considerations, and cybersecurity. It also includes a checklist for firms planning on using generative AI so that they can ensure they get the most from it and understand what sort of policies need to be in place for an AI tool to be used most effectively. The Law Society also works closely with government and regulators to ensure that there is clarity regarding the regulation of intellectual property rights and legal liability for AI. These are all global challenges to our profession, which is why coming together at conferences like today's and discussing these issues and challenges openly is so important. We can share ideas, concepts, difficulties and ways forward, leveraging the strength of our global profession to meet the demands that we individually face. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to address this year's Lagos Law Week conference. I know I can't be there to answer any of your questions, but please feel free to reach out to our International Policy Advisor for Africa, Stephanie Brown, with any questions about anything I've said today. The organisers will be able to provide her details. I hope you all enjoy the packed agenda of interesting events and discussions ahead. We look forward to continuing to engage in dialogue and exchange knowledge on issues affecting our two professions. Thank you.
I think Mr. Richard Atkinson deserves a better round of applause. I do hope you heard everything he said because of the accent, but I know we're learned and some of us here finished from England, so I believe we heard him. Okay, going on to the next thing on the agenda, we are now at the crux of this event, and I would just like to add a little thing. I know that every time we come to law gathering, we're talking about ethics, we're talking about our standards and conduct in the profession. And I must say that I, at some point, as a young lawyer, thought that the whole issue was being overflogged until I listened to Mr. Akinrele Ademola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, in one of the events that I also anchored. And he was referring back to what the legal practice used to be when Chief F.R.A. Williams was there. He even talked about how judges, Honorable Justice Okuta, Ogundare, and Obaseki were being exported outside Nigeria to sit on matters. So it's a serious issue when we are talking about ethics. There's no argument that there's a serious decadence in the legal profession. We have really devaluated the entire standard of practice. So as I call on the first plenary session, which is the flagship panel session that will be chaired by Dr. Olisa Abakoba, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. I hope we are prepared for it. I hope that we all sit tight and enjoy that session. So at this juncture, I'm going to hand over to the coordinator for that session, Mrs. Uchenna Akimbade, to introduce the panelists and coordinate the session. Thank you so much.